All week long on Primetime, we're of course featuring our series A Day in the Life, where Joe Nogan showcases prominent community members as they carry out their daily tasks with a perceived disability. Now, through these very meaningful segments, the Tri-Agency hopes that the community will become more sensitive to the struggles faced by individuals with disabilities, and the services for individuals will improve. Now, with me this evening are two new friends of the KUAM News team. We're very pleased to have them here, Ms. Lee Cruz and Mr. Francis Dadufalza. Hafaday and welcome to the show.
Hafaday.
Hi.
Okay, so we're very happy to have you here now. Of course, you are two clients who use assistive technology in various forms in various ways of your life. Lee, we'll start with you. If you can maybe say the different types of assistive technology you use and how they've benefited you as you go about your life.
Okay. Well, you know, again, with assistive technology, there's low tech and there's high tech. So I do use a netbook with screen reading software to access information on the internet, and just to compose, because I am a writer, so I do my compositions that way. But this would be considered high tech. I also use a digital recorder, and well, I've tried to use cameras because I was originally a photographer in my sighted days, but I'm not able to. I haven't quite found out how to do that yet, but I will. But for the everyday, like day-to-day things, my latest discovery are square plates. I know it's kind of like very avant-garde now in social circles to have square plates, but it helps me because then I don't have to worry so much about where my food is. It's very hard on a round plate. I know everyone like associates giving directions through you know, time, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. That doesn't work so well for me because I forget where everything is, but with a square plate, it just, something so simple as that, it just allows me to navigate my plate better, and I do like to eat, so that's very helpful to me. And then like one of the things I use like at parties, family parties, is assistive technology. When I have a drink, like a tea, I like tea, I bend my can in the middle so that it identifies where the drinking hole is, and then it also identifies which one is my can out of all the cans on the table. So, you know, just a couple of very simple things. So it doesn't have to be so complicated, but it can be, so yeah.
Okay, so yeah, well, very well put. You know, sometimes the easiest solutions are the most obvious ones, or the simplest. Okay, well, I also see you brought with you this afternoon, or this evening, a card, and you've got Braille on it and everything. So maybe talk about the differences between using that, which would be considered low-tech, and maybe using some of like the digital technologies and, like, you know, things like computers, and using high-tech resources like that.
Well, for me, I use anything that works. So a friend, Kathy Milhoff, she talks about the toolbox concept. You just carry your toolbox around, and so you use what works. It's I don't know if the technical term is multimodal. So I use, I'm no longer able to use large print because my vision, I don't have functional vision in that way anymore. So I've had to depend more on Braille. So I carry a little slate and stylus to punch out Braille notes. I also carry on a digital recorder just sometimes I hear a program that I like, so I just record it rather than having to, you know, whereas before I probably would have pulled out a pen and paper and jotted some notes down. So between my Braille slate and stylus and my digital recorder, I'm able to go around through my day with my appointments and other information that I needed. Excuse the pun, at my fingertips. So yeah, and well, for me too, this white cane that I carry, it looks very simple, but it's like the latest technology in canes. There are different types of white canes. This particular one I learned about just last year from the National Federation of the Blind in Baltimore. It has a metal tip, and so I'm able to hear when I tap, and it gives me data information of my environment. It's also a little bit longer and sleeker than what I was accustomed to using. So this also, white canes are considered technology.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I can't remember the rest of the question, but I hope I answered it.
Oh, that was perfect. Well, academics would call that Occam's razor, boys and girls. So you know, the most effective solution is quite often the very obvious and simple one. Okay, so thank you very much, Lee.
Oh,
okay, over to Francis for our next question. What types of technology do you use in your life, and how have they benefited you and made your life easier?
Well, I attend UOG as a student, and I also work there at the Mark Research Institute. And the technology that I use is a program that was introduced to me by the DVR called Dragon Naturally Speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does is I talk into a mic and it turns my words into readable text. So that way I'm able to take my notes so I can keep up with things at work and my school.
Mm-hmm. I've used Dragon myself and everything. It's a very, very powerful tool.
Yes.
Very good. And you must consider yourself very lucky, because if you work in Mark, you're right there next to the computer center, so you've got everything you ever need to do.
Yeah, that's right next door, so it is easy for me to get access.
Okay. So maybe we'll just wrap up with this next question. Lee, we'll go back to you for some people who may be listening or finding out about the lessons that assistive technology teaches. How did you find the resources that you now use, and how did you get in touch with assistive technology professionals?
Fortunately, it was the now director for DISID, Ben Servino. He had an office for assistive technology. It's the precursor to the office that Carla now heads, GSAT. Mm-hmm. I walked in there one day and I learned about JAWS, Job Access with Speech. It was my first exposure to this kind of screen reading software that was a little bit less mechanical and sounded a little bit more fluid, and that's how I was able to access computers.
All right. Well, have you used the Dragon software, the Dragon Naturally Speak that Francis also uses?
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that, because, you know, originally, like when people hear that I'm blind and I want to use a computer, they all suggest to me, why don't you use the Dragon, you know? Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I don't have a problem entering data. My problem is retrieving data. Okay. So I know the QWERTY keyboard pretty well, so I can type that way. So, you know, there is software and there is technology for each individualized need for each person. And so, yeah, but thanks for asking.
Okay, well, thank you, both of you, for being here today. Thank you very much.
Is it possible to just give a quick plug to New Vision Guam?
Okay, go ahead. We got about 10 seconds.
Okay, New Vision Guam is having its general membership meeting Saturday, March 19th, at Stumbo Senior Citizens Center from 10 a.m. to noon. Please join us.
Absolutely perfect. All right, thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Jason.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.